Welcome to the Creepy Kingdom. We are all about the creepy side. Theme parks, films, haunts, and everything in between. We create original films, live streams, vlogs, podcasts, and more. Hit that subscribe button to make sure that you always keep it creepy.
Now it is time to open up the gates. Creepy Kingdom proudly presents The Dark Theme Park Show.
Hey there, welcome to the Dark Theme Park Show, Creepy Kingdom's podcast, all about the creepy side of theme parks. I'm your host, Mr. James H. Carter II. And in this episode, I am joined by Ellie Logan. Let's bring her to the stage.
Hello.
Howdy. Welcome to the Dark Theme Park Show. I'm doing great. I'm pumped. I'm excited. We're doing the thing.
We are doing the thing. You know, it only took us a year and a half, 2 years to actually do this.
Well, yeah.
Well, not this specifically, but in general.
You on the show. Yeah, let's give a little background in case some of our viewers, listeners are unaware. So Ellie is part of the team here at Creepy Kingdom. I have dubbed her the very important job title of Community Sorceress, I believe was the title. Or is there another word in that title?
Something like that. Either way, the title has had so many changes throughout the year and a half. Like, words have been added, words have been taken away. Either way, it's really enchanting. That's all I can say.
And so your work is enchanting. Why? That's why you have this sorceress title in there. I mean, I don't think anyone even on the team has sorceress in the title besides you.
Probably not.
So congratulations on that. But anywho, if you're on our social media, Ellie's there. She's probably the one responding to your comments. Also, Ellie's part of our Florida event coverage team. She goes out there in the field and lets you know what's going on with all the theme park and haunt stuff.
We are a small but mighty team out here in Florida, and you know what? It's a good time. You should join us.
Join the team?
It's good here. We have snacks. Join the team in Florida. Come on, we're not that scary. The Gators are fine. It's okay.
Oh my God. We have yet to cover Gatorland, but I know it's coming. Anywho.
Girl, I'm going to Gator. Okay. Anywho.
Don't worry. I'm sure we're going to Gatorland soon. Anywho, coming up in this episode, very excited.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Definitely happening. But in this episode, we are excited to talk about the first ever theme park land based on Universal Monsters. Dark Universe is coming to Universal's Epic Universe in 2025. And just a few days ago, as of this recording, Universal released all the details that are going to be there. And we're going to go over them all and, say what we think about them. But first, a little housekeeping. Very important to do a little housekeeping. So, this is the first Dark Theme Park show of 2024. Last one was in October 23. And so this is the first one of the year and our first one kind of back for this new season. As you were, we don't have official seasons here, but we're back and we're doing the thing. And we are going to be releasing monthly episodes, which is an exciting time we're about to head into the most spectacular time of the year. So we'll definitely have plenty to discuss. So that's very exciting stuff. And the other thing to mention is that since the last episode, we have launched a second YouTube channel. And we decided to make this YouTube channel just about covering experiences and places you could go, whether it's theme parks, haunts, themed restaurants, whatever it is. That's all stuff that lives on this channel. And then everything about film and series is on our brand new YouTube channel called Creepy Kingdom Movie Madness. Currently, that's where our interviews are with the filmmakers of the biggest horror releases of the year. We have The Watchers, Abigail, Strangers, Part 1 or Day 1, whatever it's called. I don't know. But we have interviews with the cast and crew there. So pretty excited about that. And we have some other film-related podcasts coming over there soon. So please subscribe. Alrighty, now let's get into this. Let's recap where we were with this dark universe before this announcement. So it was Epic Universe, this brand new theme park coming to Universal Orlando, was announced in early 2020 with no details and vague concept art. So we're like, yay, a new theme park. We didn't know what it was or what was in there, which was a little nuts. Luckily, there's an investigative journalist in the theme park pundency world. Her name is Alicia Stella. She's from Theme Park Stop, and she really goes hardcore with reading permits and whatever insider information she has. And shortly after this announcement, pretty much said rumors of everything that was going to be an Epic Universe. And to her credit, about 6 months ago or so, they finally actually publicly said what was going to be there, and she pretty much knocked it all out of the park. So there was a few changes, but
Wow.
but yeah, so that she called this 4 years ago. So congratulations to her and her investigative work there. That was pretty incredible.
For real.
All that being said,
That's
it was very impressive. But all that being said, asked her to come on to this show 4 years ago to talk about this proposed Universal Monsters theme park land, which she talked about a few things at the time. She said it would be a highly immersive land. She said that there would be an e-ticket similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey that features all the monsters. Said there'd be a stage show and a restaurant. And that's pretty much was the understanding that we were going through. That some rumors changed, some details changed, which I'm not going to do a rumor changing timeline, but we're just going to go into what they actually announced. All right, so Universal gave us all of the details, and we're going to get into it right now. So, Ellie, why don't you take it away for what they shared with us?
Okay, so for this first image, we've got created by the award-winning Universal creative team in partnership with Universal Pictures, Dark Universe blends the iconic stories of unearthly legends like Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, and more, with a new generation of monsters and characters, including Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, the great-great-granddaughter of the infamous Henry Frankenstein, who has continued his misguided experiments. As guests venture through Darkmoor, the ravaged village within Dark Universe, they'll encounter the characters and subjects of those experiments within a first-of-its-kind theme park environment that offers family-friendly fun, while also pushing the boundaries on intensity in a way that only Universal could achieve.
All right.
Okay.
So that's just a little bit of an overview.
Wow.
There.
Okay.
And we have this concept art here up on the screen. There's a lot happening in this concept art. We got...
There is so much happening. It's like...
for our audio listeners, what are the things that strikes you from this right away?
Okay, so I just need to get this out of my brain because it's just the first thing that comes to mind because there's so much going on. But you remember that painter, Kincaid, the painter of light, like the guy that QVC loved back in the 90s.
Bob Ross?
No. Thomas Kincaid.
Okay.
Thomas Kincaid. And they called him like the painter of light because this is a tangent.
Okay.
Because everything he painted would always look like so warm, and it was houses and landscapes, and there was always like light. Yes. And it's giving that, but a little twisted and weird. But also this, is that a wolf cat type of guy next to this lady by the circus wagon? Like, what is that?
I'm not sure. I mean, look, the wagon, the Wolfman is what it looks like, right? And then,
like, in between I'm like, and then there's Dracula.
There's Dracula in the air. There's Frankenstein, and I guess that's Victoria Frankenstein up front.
Is that okay?
With the
okay? Frankenstein is
Yeah.
buff.
And I'm gonna guess that's the Mummy.
I didn't recognize him at
He's been
first.
working out. They took his body
Okay.
parts from Hulk Hogan.
Listen, don't give Hulk Hogan any more ideas. He's lied about enough
Yeah, right.
things. Like,
I won't. But yeah, that looks like maybe the Mummy right there. And then you see a little bit of Castle Dracula back. That and there's like roller coaster track in the far off horizon as well.
going all
So
through the place. There's up in the front and in the
yeah, it
back.
doesn't seem like it's like segregated to one area. It's kind of just going all all around.
No. How cool would it be if the roller coaster just sort of snakes its way through the bulk of the land? It's like this weird little flyover tour, almost sort of like the video of Darkmoor, but it's like, hey, here's the castle, and now here's the shop, and here's the circus wagons. Like,
So like people
because that's
mover.
the vibe I'm sort of getting from this.
Yeah, it's like chaotic people mover. Like,
very chaotic people mover. Like,
wow. So I mean, just the idea. Yeah, I mean, we just yeah. I don't know if I said already, or I'm trying to say it again, but the reality that there's a theme park, Universal Monsters. Like, we haven't been able to actually be in there yet, but to see something so immersive and so just dark. I mean, it is the epitome of what we're about here, Creepy Kingdom, obviously, and so it's just like the rumors have been great, and they did announce the land was coming early this year, but just to start to see details like this, very exciting. Let's move on to the next part here. Darkmoor.
okay. All right. The journey to Dark Universe begins the moment guests enter its electrifying portal, which harnesses the dark energy of Darkmoor. As guests step foot inside, that same energy will pulsate throughout the entire village and connect at the top of Frankenstein Manor, the towering focal point of Dark Universe. Nestled within the blackened stone walls of the town, guests will embark on unique adventures where they can get made up to look like their favorite monsters, spin through the woods aboard a thrilling family coaster, enjoy unique dining establishments, enter Frankenstein Manor to brave Universal Orlando's most chilling ride ever, and more. Okay.
Wow. So, for one, we got to mention that this part of Epic Universe is called Dark Universe, which is not the best name.
No, it's very confusing to be like, we're at Epic Universe in Dark Universe and Epic Universe. It's redundancy at its finest, almost. Like,
but also, I realized they probably went with this because of the failed cinematic universe that they tried to launch back in 2019, called the Dark Universe,
right?
Which they only got one film out, and that was Tom Cruise's The Mummy. But they had plans.
I remember when that one came out.
They had plans for all the Universal Monster films to all be tied together, and it got canceled. And that was probably for the best. We'll just leave it at that. I guess that's a topic for another time. But
probably.
But it was interesting that they went with that name, I guess, basically because at least it had some association with Universal Monsters prior to this. And maybe they hope they can bring it back.
Right. Probably. And after the whole cinematic universe was scrapped, where I guess we could consider ourselves lucky that they didn't scrap this land with it, because since that was right in the announcement stage of Epic, it could have been very easy for them to be like, well, that's done.
Yeah, there was rumors like the whole past until like they made the official announcement that it was anything was going to be cut. This was the first, because everything else in the park is tied to, current-ish, I say current-ish, popular IP. More current than the Universal Monsters theoretically, but and we were all probably shocked when they even announced it compared to how modern the rest of the IP is in the park. But just I think, between the Universal Monsters mazes and houses that they've had at Horror Nights over the past few years, and closing the cafe, which was really the only Universal Monsters mainstay in Orlando, and they closed the walkthrough in Hollywood years ago. Historically, it would have been a shame if they didn't have anything represented in the park, but I think they realized that the love and the fandom is strong. And even if it's not that strong between some guests, like, these characters are timeless, right? I mean, everybody, even if you're not that into horror, you know who they are.
Right.
So, anyways,
exactly.
That's my thoughts on that.
And the people that do love it, the people that do love the Universal Monsters love them so very much, and that sort of makes up for the people that are sort of they're fine. So it balances out.
Yeah, I always encourage theme parks to go all in on horror and dark and creepy stuff, which I'll get towards our final thoughts. But I think the demand of this is strong. It's generational and worth building. So I'm glad that. But to go on with what we just talked about here, I like that they're trying to keep this as they didn't want. It's not Universal Monsters Land. It's a place that exists. This Darkmoor thing. I mean, maybe they should have just called it Darkmoor. I mean, maybe they didn't because they're like.
Maybe they'll rename it. Yeah.
It's like maybe they didn't because it's not. That's not an IP, so people are like, "What?" But Dark Universe isn't an IP either, so I don't really know. But we could speculate all day about why they did it or not. And at the end of the day, I don't care because I'm glad that they actually made it. They didn't cancel it. But so they're
exactly.
But I am glad that they're trying to make this a real place you're visiting, not a theme park land that you're transporting to this lived-in space. A precedent set by the Wizarding World that, changed the theme park industry 14 years ago. And for the most part, I think for the better. And I really love the full immersion. And I'm excited that, that they did that on this, you're visiting a town called Darkmoor kind of storyline.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited to experience it in real life. Like the concept art is really cool, but it just has me really itching to get into those nooks and crannies and fully just throw myself into this land, because like you said, the immersion level is just top notch.
Yeah, I mean at a minimum, you're like, I'll just hang here. Like, a lot of people talk about it's cool to hang out in theme parks and not do anything, especially as locals, which it is, sure. But as somebody that, loves creepy stuff, I was like, I'll just, just leave me here. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. I'll just be right here.
You'll know where to find me when it's time to go back to the car. Yeah.
Like, holy cow. Now let's move on to the e-ticket attraction.
Okay. Here's more information about the thrilling yet unsettling attractions and entertainment experiences that await visitors to Dark Universe. Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment. Universal Orlando's most terrifying attraction yet, this state-of-the-art dark ride takes guests deep into the catacombs of Frankenstein Manor, where Dr. Victoria Frankenstein conducts her twisted experiments. In a vain display of her genius, she invites guests into her laboratory to witness a demonstration of her ability to control monsters, but her plans go awry when her attempts to control the most dangerous of monsters, Dracula, fails, unleashing a horde of enraged monsters. Guests are then thrust into an intense ride through the darkness as they try to evade the grasps of the Wolfman, the Mummy, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the brides of Dracula, and others. Okay. Wow, that's a lot. That's highly ambitious.
Holy cow, you guys. This is it.
Wow.
Like this is the thing. So they have released a video, which you can find at creepykingdom.com. That has all this information, but also a little behind the scenes featurette where they show a little more of the animation of this attraction and talk about what it's going to be. And woo, this is the kind of thing that gets me excited about, doing this stuff and covering this stuff and being a theme park fan. Like, they said, the rumor was this would be a Forbidden Journey. I don't know what that means, but Forbidden Journey is now a 14-year-old ride, and Universal Creative I say they keep doing it, but when they do it, they really push the envelope. Not every attraction does it, but wow, like this. When I saw the video of the behind the scenes part, I was actually getting chills. Like this just looks absolutely incredible. So looking at the concept art right now, there is some kind of portal similar to the ones we walk through to get into the land. And I don't know who that is that's in the middle of it. Is it the Wolfman, maybe? No, I don't know. Maybe it's Dracula because I see bats flying around there.
Well, I'm seeing
Yeah, so
that.
that's Dracula.
So, like, is it?
It doesn't look like
Yeah,
Dracula,
okay, so it looks like around the lightning, it looks like the shape of a cape. No, but it looks like there's a cape sort of within the inside of the lightning bolt, within the sort of flowing, billowing in the wind, if you will.
Oh yeah, I could barely
Plus
see
the
that.
bats, like it's got to be Dracula.
Yeah, and his face is a little pointier. Yeah, and I don't see any hair. It looks like there's hair on his legs. That's why I'm confused.
Right. I mean, at first it was giving Nightcrawler from the
yeah.
Wrong land, wrong park. Like, so.
Sure, they don't have the rights to X-Men in the parks, but yeah, I don't know. Either way, I don't really know what it is. Doesn't matter. It's either Dracula or Wolfman or a combination. Maybe they're forming together. Maybe it's one of the experiments of Victoria Frankenstein. I don't know. That's
the fun of it. Either way, I'm really excited to see what this portal deal is about.
Yeah, I'm sure it ties into the Epic Universe portals. But either way, there's this ride vehicle that's in the corner that you can see what it is, but barely. It's hard to tell what experience it is there. Let me go back to the other slide. As you can see there's Frankenstein there ready to go, and that's definitely Wolfman on the bottom right. I'm not sure who else, but basically at the bottom you just see the top of what seems to be some kind of chairs, and it's hard to tell whether this is actually a Forbidden Journey type experience on a Kuka arm or whether it is on a track or trackless or whatever. But this looks like back to the portal one, looks like you're in the air, right? It doesn't look like you're on any type of track or ground or anything.
Right. No, it's really hard to tell what's going on with that car, but it definitely sort of has a floating vibe. But wow, this is going to be interesting to see in person. I'm one of those, I love to like figure out how things work. So like I need to get all up in the guts of this ride car. Like I need to see it.
Well, I will say this, if it is get up in there. I will say this, if it is a Kuka arm attraction, I hope that they are prepared to accommodate larger size humans, as Forbidden Journey really does not. So.
Yeah, that is an issue with Forbidden Journey.
And so I'll just, I'm not going to deep dive on that because we don't know what it is. I just wanted to say that. So whatever. Because right now we're just speculating on what it even is. But this is this could be one of the greatest attractions of all time. I mean, the way that they've hyped this up to me and my personal interest, like this could be up there. Like if as it stands, what's my favorite attractions ever? Haunted Mansion, Pirates, Harry Potter, and and I know there's some ones overseas that, like our pal Sir Uncle Traveling Grant has experienced. like Mystic Manor, which would probably be on my list. But I reserve me experiencing attractions myself before I put them on my all-time favorite list.
Right.
But holy cow. All right, so let's move on to the next attraction.
Curse of the Werewolf. Deep in the woods that sit on the edge of Darkmoor, guests will find Curse of the Werewolf, a spinning family coaster inspired by the Wolfman. Guests will enter the encampment of the Guild of Mystics, where they'll be greeted by the Maleva?
Yeah, let's go with that.
The Guild's all-knowing seer. Okay, it's either or. The Guild's all-knowing seer and leader, who warns them that they bear the mark of the werewolf. Guests then board a wagon and venture into the forest, racing to escape the werewolves before they become one themselves. Okay.
Well, that sounds like quite a story. I don't know how that translates into the roller coaster that's in this concept.
It does. I don't know, but the Guild of Mystics, so that is giving me like Eastern European traveler type vibes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe the exposition, the plot is like told in the queue, but essentially this is a mid-level coaster. It's giving Flight of the Hippogriff, but it spins in circles. That's what it kind of looks like and feels like.
Yeah, the spinning element sounds like it could be really fun. Like, I haven't been on too many spinning roller coasters before, but the ones I do have been on, I always have a good time on.
I don't think I've been on any. Which ones have you been on?
Well, I mean, there was one in Dinoland that they took down that sort of spun around.
Primeval World. Yeah, I never went on that.
Yes. It was a little bumpy, a little rough, but I loved that thing so much. I think I was the only person ever that actually liked it. And then I don't know if Cosmic Rewind spins, but like it kind of feels like it does a little bit.
Okay.
So maybe if it's not completely spinning, but sort of. Either way, this looks like it could be fun, especially if it's themed throughout the track correctly, and a little less like Velocicoaster where there's just random statues hanging out that don't do anything.
Right. Yeah, that's more about the thrill factor coaster, Velocicoaster. We'll see what this has to bring. I will say I am actually a little disappointed that they canceled the show that they were developing, because I thought that whatever that was going to be probably like something, like Ghostbusters, like that old school Ghostbusters show level of like theatrics and tricks or whatever.
That would have been so cool to see some Wolfman transformations in a show type format. That would have been amazing.
I don't know what the concept was at all, but so I would have preferred that over this, just me personally, for my personal interest. But the land definitely needed it. I think this kind of like mid-level coaster, because like I said, I don't think everyone's going to be able to get on the Monsters Unleashed for various reasons. Maybe they're not old enough, or maybe they won't fit in the seats or whatever.
Right. Right.
So there's that. All right. So moving on, we don't have any concept art for it, but the Darkmoor monster makeup experience. Let's get into that.
Okay, so guests of all ages can become fashionably monstrous as they don elaborate face paint and temporary tattoos at Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. Here, monster makers have converted Dr. Pretorius's infamous old lab into a parlor to continue the spirit of his demented experiments, and skilled artisans use their talents to transform guests' outer appearances so they can showcase their fandom for Universal monsters. So that sort of sounds like the monster makeup thing that's currently going on over at the original Universal Park.
What is happening there? Like, is it just like some places they do other characters and then they do that, or do they have something specific for the Universal monsters currently?
Currently, from what I remember, there were several different options, like just vaguely monster related, but also sort of like spooky glam. But now reading that there's this universal monster makeup experience type thing, it kind of makes me wonder if this was testing grounds for this new experience that they're offering.
Probably. I do think it's kind of a cool idea. If it's like not just, I don't know. Usually you see the thing for kids and it's super generic, and it looks ridiculous. Like no one would want to purposely put this on their face, kind of style. If they make it actually look cool, like give you like,
Right.
like undead, like actually like something that takes like a little while to do, not just like 5 minutes. I think this could be a kind of a cool thing for like everyone in the area, or a lot of people in the area, to kind of match the aesthetic of what's happening there.
Yeah, if it was done, like you said, more intently, like intensive than just like the little water-based paint, which I'm sure it is going to have more moving parts to it. That could be really cool. It almost gives you this live action role play element to it.
I also feel like where it's going to be is probably going to be very immersive. So a little bit of the experience kind of thing. Like they're probably going to have some like theatrical elements to it.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
You have to do it. So, but anyways,
okay. Yeah. Obviously.
all right, we're moving on to Meet the Monsters. This is the next detail they released here. This is the concept art we're looking at, which, looks like old Frank and the bride are just hanging outside their house, and you, Joe Public, with your cell phone can take some photos. Well, let's hear how they describe it.
Okay. Meet the monsters. There's always someone or something looming in the shadows of Dark Universe, including monsters who are eager to meet and greet everyone from kids to adults, including Dr. Victoria Frankenstein's monster and the alluring Bride of Frankenstein. Guests will also encounter other unusual inhabitants roaming the eerie village, including Victoria Frankenstein's servant Igor, the Invisible Man, an eccentric monster hunter, and a talented musician who regales guests with songs and tales of the classic Universal Monsters stories.
Wow. Well, I will say, I can't wait to get my photo taken with the Invisible Man. That's
That's going to be like the prime meet and greet photo right there. You just never know where he's going to pop up, James. Like, come on.
I know. Which it sounds to me they're trying to do a little bit of a thematic engagement and storytelling with a meet and greet here, which is cool. I mean, you gotta have it, right? And you can't have not have the land without the meet and greet.
Of course.
So we'll see how it's executed. Yeah, that's all. That's all I think about it. I don't know. Unless you have any other thoughts about that into us.
First thought is, poor Igor. How old is Igor? Like, this man should be retired, or like, is he immortal? Is it a different Igor? Because Victor Frankenstein had an Igor. Like, what's up with Igor? But also, I'm very curious about these new original characters, like the monster hunter and the musician. Like, it's sort of giving me D&D level. Like, here's your bard, and here's your hunter guy, and it's going to be really interesting. And I wonder if these invisible, wow, if these original characters are like how they're going to be received. Like, will they take off? Will they be erased in a couple of years? Either way, like, I want to get to know them and the part they have to play in this universe.
I think I'm glad you brought that up. I think they're going to be extremely well received amongst theme park fans. And particularly Universal fans. Like any original characters that they introduce, specifically around horror nights or anything like that, or people they eat them up. They just can't get enough of them. And I feel like it's great because you can't have every character in the land be like a famous Universal monster, right? So, but you don't want nondescript characters just taking on these major roles. So I think they're going to build their own lore and fandom and everything.
Possibly. Like, either way, it's super exciting. The more we delve into this, the more I'm getting Universal Monsters meets the Ren Fair, but in a good way.
Well, it's the LARPing aspect of it, right? It's not the Ren Fair like it's medieval times or something.
It is.
Yeah, it's really, yeah. Which
no.
So yeah, that's why I think I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Epic Universe, which is like give you the interactive element that you came to this place and this is a real living place. The precedent set by the Wizarding World lands, and I guess Super Mario Land too, but I don't know if you want to think that's a real living place, but I don't know. With that, there's no like the lore is the video game lore. It's not like there's original characters hanging out in Super Mario Land. At least not that I noticed, but yeah, I think that you engage with these people probably pretty intently. I mean, hopefully. Anywho, let's move on to the next thing they announced.
Okay. Guests can also sink their teeth into delicious fare and shop all new merchandise and apparel during their visit to Dark Universe at highly themed dining and retail locations, including Duff's Steakhouse, Darkmoor's most ominous restaurant. This establishment is a dining hall run by vampire familiars who size up unsuspecting patrons to be part of the vampire's feast. Surrounded by artwork and artifacts detailing the history of the village's creatures of the night, guests can enjoy a menu of kebabs, burgers, sandwiches, and more.
All right. So do you think that this is counter or table service? It looks like table service. Based on
it looks like table service.
And for the listeners, there's
based on the vampire waiter.
There's a waiter. So it looks like table service, but like we have the at the other restaurants, it's not. They bring it to the table, right? So you order it in at a counter, but they bring it to the table.
Right. Yeah. It's like a weird hybrid. You can either mobile order or order at the counter and then they sit you down and then they bring it out.
Yeah. So so that's why I don't know. And with that is like, what's the price point? Is this any experience? I mean, kebabs, burgers, and sandwiches doesn't sound like, signature dining, right? So that sounds like counter service stuff.
Right.
So I say all that to say
it does. And I appreciate the pun.
Yeah. Yes. Great pun.
The pun with steakhouse. Like I just looked at it now. And
you just got it. No, yeah. Yes.
It took me. It's been a long day.
As long as it hits, the writer of this restaurant appreciates it, no matter how long it goes. Visually, I mean, this looks like it's underground in the catacombs or something. There, so many candles and wrought iron and stone.
There's a coffin. There's a coffin above the diners all the way at the far end of the photo. No, 2, 3 coffins.
Oh, I see those now.
That is so cool.
It gives me that kind of, that's why it's similar to the catacombs. Clearly, it's not catacombs is that filled with skulls and stuff like that, but it has that vibe for sure. And I hope that this is a counter service, mostly because I want to go there all the time, and I'm not going to go to a signature dining thing all the time.
Yeah. No. Like I want to be here constantly, forever and always. And if it's fancy sit down, I'm not gonna be able to. Like I need to sit in every inch of this restaurant and really look at it from all angles.
Yeah, and if it's fancy, we're just it's just gonna take longer to do that, but we're gonna do it. we're gonna take it all in.
We are.
That's for dang sure. I mean, no, that's all you really say until we, see what the menu is, and then get to go there and hang out. So, but very, very glad that they have something like this. All right, let's go on to the next one.
The Burning Blade Tavern. Despite the blades of the windmill still smoldering and flaming periodically, Darkmoor's monster hunters have transformed this old fiery mill into their favorite hangout. While enjoying a menu of burgers, wings, bratwurst, pretzels, and specialty beverages, guests will hear stories of the infamous hounds, boastful hunters from beyond Darkmoor, all while surrounded by an immersive display of the monster heads they consider their trophies.
My God. Like, Das Steakhouse seems pretty cool, but this is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be the spot. Like, how cool is that?
It really is. Like, I am already speechless by looking at the windmill. Like, I need to see, I cannot wait to see how they pull the windmill off in real life.
Yeah, so those listening and you haven't seen it, I mean, the concept art shows the windmill, like the famous windmill you see from Frankenstein, on fire the whole time. We were impressed by, the dragon on top of Gringotts, every 7 minutes, however long it takes to go off. But wow, the fact that there's, local lore and characters. I mean, this that again, it's probably going to be more popular than the other place, than the Das Steakhouse, because it seems more interacting and engaging. So maybe Das Steakhouse is table service. Maybe it is.
Maybe. And my imagination is going wild with what the inside probably looks like. You tell me something caught on fire, and I'm just picturing all types of stuff going on the inside. Like, I need it to be 2025 right now.
Universal theme parks love fire, like the whole time. I remember like the Backdraft thing, Universal Hollywood, experience what it's like being in a burning building, like just constantly, trying to set you on fire. Even now, So now they're just like, we're just going to be on fire the whole time. I mean, who knows if it's really going to be the whole time, but they really make it look like
and the windmill is just spinning it on fire. They do.
Oh, it says periodically. I've jumped the gun.
Oh, that's even cooler. Like, Steakhouse, I love you already, but Burning Blade, yes, okay. You'll know where to find me. Like,
yeah, we were caught off. We'll be at Steakhouse, and then we're like, oh wait. And to be honest, I hadn't read this description of the Burning Blade because I was just so captivated by the concept art on the outside of it.
Right.
So cool.
Like, next up, we have DeLacy's Cottage. Near Frankenstein Manor sits DeLacy's Cottage food stand, where the original Frankenstein's monster once received sustenance and friendship. Here, guests can find a variety of snacks and cool treats like cinnamon bread, ice cream, twisted taters, and more. Like, I said I liked Steakhouse. I said I liked Burning Blade. But those two things don't have twisted taters. This place does. I will be at the twisted tater stand all the time.
Wow.
I'm a simple girl who likes simple things, and that thing is twisted taters.
Yeah. No, I've never had them. I thought I did, but no, I never had them.
Mm-hmm.
But so what? Since we're talking about it, what is on the twisted taters that you're so excited about?
So the twisted taters are just highly customizable. The basic twisted tater you can have. Yeah. Actually, Wildwood Boardwalk has a variation, but that's another story for another day. They have different types of seasoning. They have vinegar. They have salt. They have like ghost pepper. You can combine them. Sometimes there's one that has a hot dog down the middle. You can have chili and cheese on the top. Like, it is a potato on the stick, and you can put pretty much anything you want on it as long as it's, on the menu for them to put on.
Well, that sounds very exciting.
I just really like potatoes, okay?
Who doesn't? I mean, is there a form of potato that you won't eat? And I can't think of one. However they want it, I usually will eat it.
Potato salad.
You don't like potato? I'll eat it, but you don't like potato salad? All right. I'll still eat it.
I don't like mayonnaise. No, mayonnaise is not my jam.
Wow.
You can have mine.
Okay, thank you. I don't know where we're getting potato salad from, but I'll have yours because that's on the menu here. But
I don't know.
but I do want to mention, this seems like is like a just a like a window kind of thing or something like, and I love that they're just and just like a backstory to just like a food window, not just like a nondescript thing.
Yeah. Not just like, here's your pretzel stand, kids. It's here's your story of why the pretzel stand is here. Yeah.
I appreciate this level of immersion. Some people like to hate on it, but I love it. I do love it. I think there's been some misses with this type of thing over the past few years, which is I don't want to. Overall, I love that everything is there and has a backstory, and you walked into a physical living place as much as possible. Because why would there be a roller coaster track around a real living place? But besides that,
exactly.
Ignore the track everywhere. I think they'll get there. Maybe not in our lifetime, but they'll be able to like build a roller coaster that fits into like the aesthetic of the land that doesn't look like tracks everywhere. I bet you that'll happen
eventually. I mean, that would be the goal, I would imagine.
Anyways, I'll stop. Armchair creative universal creating or whatever. One last thing to talk about here: the merchandise.
Merchandising. Okay. Guests can take home a piece of the immortal world of Dark Universe with commemorative merchandise and mementos from retail locations like Pretoria's Scientific Oddities. To prepare for the electrifying chills and thrills that await in Dark Universe, guests can now purchase a variety of new merchandise themed to the new land, including apparel, accessories, and more. The collection is available for a limited time and can be purchased at the Universal Epic Universe Preview Center in Universal City Walk and on shop.universalorlando.com.
Which is what we're showing on the screen.
All right, let's take a look.
For the most part, it looks like they put the same logo on a bunch of stuff. Not super exciting.
Yeah.
But I will say that this hoodie looks kind of cool. Lightning bolt on. That's the one thing that's kind of unique. I mean, and then the shirt is a little repetitive. But this looks kind of cool. I'd imagine the back of it, we'll load it up here as we're chatting, probably has the same logo all over the place. This line of
probably, but I would be so happy with just the lightning bolt.
Let's see, or is it lightning bolt on the back? It's back, and it looks like it glows in the dark.
It glows in the dark.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, I really would say that
that is so
also
cool.
Doesn't say anything that I could see about Universal Monsters, Epic Universe, Dark Universe. It's literally a lightning hoodie.
Okay, like before you pointed this out, this probably was my favorite piece that was in the collection as you were scrolling. And the more I look at it, the more I love it. Like it glows in the
description says
it glows in the dark.
Embroidered across the top. I'm not seeing it, but not in this concept art. But independent of this and the T-shirt, this drop seems kind of generic. And it might be some cool correctors. They're just kind of getting stuff out there to align with the announcement, and and that's fine. But I really, really feel like the actual merch that's going to be in here is going to be incredible. Like, I don't think it's going to be this stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
This is just tide you over kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a glow in the dark blanket too. I don't know if they're going to try to do stuff like Galaxy's Edge.
That's cool. But
with their merch where there's Wars on it or anything. So hopefully, because that'd be cool to have just really unique merch
Yeah.
that's in universe, like steaks or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Right. Vampire capes. Yeah, they really have a lot of possibilities, especially if they're going for this like medieval, not medieval, but different time period vibe. There are a lot of possibilities with shirts, dresses, vests. But I
Yeah.
have found that their initial launch merch drops are always sort of like meh for me, no
Yeah.
matter
Well,
what it
yeah.
is. I'm like, oh, okay, you're just advertising the thing that's opening up.
Right. Yeah. They're not. Yeah. It seems like, like one of those websites where you can, like make your own T-shirts where you can just put it on a mouse pad or put it on a hat or like,
Right,
Tea
right.
Public or Cafe Press, stuff like that.
Like
Yeah.
Redbubble, yeah.
It's so, um, and it's also the kind of thing, I'd be I don't know how much they're selling this stuff online. I think people might be hyped up to buy some of this. They're at the preview center and they're excited about it. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm looking forward to more merch. That hoodie is kind of cool. But we're far away from hoodie season, so I'm not going to be buying any hoodies anytime soon.
Okay.
All right, to wrap up this episode, let's share our final thoughts about Dark Universe and everything they shared. I'll let you take it away there, Sorceress Ellie.
Okay. Sorceress Ellie, yes. Well, now that I've finally seen all of the concept art and read the descriptions of the rides and the restaurants, I am more excited than I thought I was going to be because,
Wow, really?
I mean, Universal Monsters are always a win. Yeah. But I'm one of those where I love details and I love immersion. So just seeing, even just in these renderings, the amount of care and detail that have been put into all of these attractions, I cannot wait to see how that translates from the computer screen to actually in front of my face.
Oh yeah.
I cry a lot. I'm probably gonna cry. There will be footage of me crying just all over in front of Frankenstein and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I've actually never been this hyped for a new land in a theme park ever. Like, I need more. Like, Britney Spears, give me more right now. Like, I need to see more.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up an interesting point. The idea, like seeing this stuff and get excited about it, yeah, but like now it's becoming more tangible of like what to expect and to think about like being there. I mean, oh my god. I think Epic Universe itself, just physically being there, is going to be overwhelming and breathtaking based on all the concept art that we've seen, all based on what Universal Creatives have been able to accomplish in the past. But man, I think, are we going to be there opening day? I don't know, but whatever day that I get there first, because I'm in California, I think I just want to block out the whole first day for Dark Universe.
Yeah. I was honestly thinking that before too when we were looking at the concept art of just the entrance. Like, first thought that popped in my head was like, I'm going to need to dedicate a day to each land specifically, but especially Darkmoor. Like,
Yeah, no, it's gonna.
I'm not going anywhere else that day. Whenever I actually get there.
We're gonna go in droves, and you know what? There's rumors. Again, they haven't officially announced it, but that the design of the park with these different portals is made so they could very easily close off sections of the park and rent them out for like private corporate events. And I have a private corporate event that I'd like to have here at Creepy Kingdom.
Could you imagine just Creepy Kingdom party in Darkmoor?
Of course, our viewers and listeners are welcome to join us. But yeah,
That would be so
I'm actually going to
cool.
go as far as to say that if they are offering that as an offering, which I'm sure they are, that that's going to happen at some point. That's not even the hypothetical. I don't care how long it takes for it to come together. That is, I'm just putting it out there right now. We are going to have a private party or whatever party gathering in Dark Universe, Darkmoor, Universal Monsters Land, whatever you want to call it. Creepy Kingdom private party coming at some point in the future. I don't know what year, but anyways, I cut you off. Any other final thoughts?
Not really. Now I'm stuck on
Sorry.
private party in Darkmoor. No, it's okay. I'm really excited to see how the story of this land unfolds, because now it's not just a land, it is a whole story. It is a living, breathing type of thing that people who go there are going to be lucky enough to experience. And I think that's probably the most exciting thing Universal has done for a while, is just create these lands that you can immerse yourself in and really just forget that you're at a theme park.
Well, they definitely have accomplished that with the Wizarding Worlds lands that exist currently. And that's kind of where I want to start my final thoughts here, is that this is the land that I've been most excited to open in any theme park since Diagon Alley. And you know what's nuts about that is that opened years ago. It opened in 2014. Did you realize that?
No, I didn't. Already? Like, I feel like it just opened. I feel like it just opened.
No.
I don't want to believe in the passage of time, okay? Like, I don't want to believe that.
I don't remember the date, but it was like June, it was like June of that, maybe July, but it was right around there that it opened. So it's been 10 years since Diagon Alley has opened. And that Diagon Alley, and I'll say this on record, is the best theme park land that I have ever been into. I have not left the United States, so I've never been to the overseas parks. It is literally the best land. It's the best land for immersion. It's my personal aesthetic. I think it's absolutely incredible. The level of detail in every nook and cranny. Also, up until Dark Universe, the only place where a villain-themed area land exists in a theme park is, Nocturne Alley within Diagon Alley. It was that. It's within itself was something that I talked about on Creepy Kingdom podcast before, when it was announced, because my mind was blown away that they were building Nocturne Alley. Now, granted, there's not too much to do in Alley, but it's definitely one of my favorite places to hang out and just soak it all in. That's a requirement whenever entering Diagon Alley. And it was so funny because the morning they did this Dark Universe announcement, on Universal, whatever they want to call it, Destinations, I think it's not called that, whatever, on their official TikTok, they posted this video, and it was about the sign of the leaky cauldron. I don't know if you saw this video, but
I don't think I did.
So yeah, it was like did you know this little thing about the leaky cauldron sign? And the thing they were showing was that on the cauldron part that's cut out of the sign, because it's like they cut it out like a stencil, and then it's the cauldron and the or whatever. It literally drips water. There's water dripping out of the sign of the cauldron.
Oh, it's actually leaky.
Yes, it actually is leaking.
That is so cool.
I never knew that or noticed that ever, especially because it's always so humid and wet in Orlando. But
right, everything's leaky in Florida in the summer. Yeah,
but and this is like an hour before they made this Dark Universe details announcement. us all in. And I literally sat there and I was just like, I hadn't really thought about Diagon Alley like that in a long time because it's 10 years old. And I'm just like, man, that's what makes me love theme parks. Like, wow, that level of detail that probably nobody ever noticed ever. Let's just be real here.
Right.
Like, who would be? I mean, maybe somebody did, but we're theme park nerds. We're deep in the game. You figure we're more to of know stuff like that, and we had no idea, right? So, wow. So the precedent's high to say that.
But it makes sense because that's so clever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was like, the precedent's high, and they've done things after that have not been this level of detail. So it's like, oh, when they're held to a third party high standard of she who not will not be named, that's when they deliver, historically. But now it's like I feel like they're bringing that love and passion to Dark Universe specifically. I mean, maybe they're bringing it to How to Train Your Dragon Land and whatever else, but as far as I could see, it's like I bet you're going to see that level of detail of a leaky cauldron sign dripping water.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised just looking at puns in the names of the restaurants and the fire on the windmill blades. Like, the detail is already there. So I guess it's just sort of looking in the unexpected places now, which means me as a detail girly is going to be spending multiple days.
I'm just going to say this now to you. You better clear your a week of your schedule. Opening week.
It's true. It's true.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
We're like, see, I'm going on vacation. Where are you going?
You're going to Darkmoor, the ultimate staycation. Moving on to wrap up.
The staycation. Yes, okay.
To wrap up here, that also say my expectations for Monsters Unleashed, the e-ticket, are just so high based on the stuff I said earlier. Like, oh my god, I think that it might not even be lived up to, and that kind of happened with Gringotts to me because Forbidden Journey was so incredible and such an experience the first time you go through it. And then they're like, hey, remember from the movie and the crazy roller coaster ride from the movie? You get to do that now, and you're like, my expectations of that were like the Mummy times 20. Like, I was like through the roof. And clearly what we got was that, very mid besides the appearance of Bellatrix Lestrange. And if she wasn't, it would be even less. I'd like so.
Right.
I thought about it. I was like, I think my expectations were high because of Forbidden Journey. Let's just be honest, right? So I'm still keeping that with this new ride. And what's funny is that if you know the history of the development of Forbidden Journey, it was initially developed to be a ride based on Van Helsing from the 2004 movie. Did you know that? Yeah.
Really? I did not.
And then so that movie bombed, and then
that is really cool.
They scrapped the concept, but that's where the Kukra arm and going through a castle, I guess, the thing there. So it's kind of full circle that they're bringing that, if it is Kukra arm, to this new attraction. Yeah. So yeah, this might be the most creepy kingdom ever, right? I mean,
yeah. I think it goes without saying at this point.
Now, I will say, we got to bring up the elephant in the room here. I know we've been talking about immersive theme park lands and all that stuff, and ones that are great. And the one that I think really misses the mark artistically is Galaxy's Edge. Clearly, immersively, you're pretty immersed in where you are. I mean, they nailed that. You're in a space rock planet. You did it. You're there. But I for one, they cut so many of the cool stuff they were going to do. So like, there's that, but also like, I don't really care about like being and on Batu, since I have no emotional attachment to it at all. So, and it's just kind of like, I don't really want to hang out there just for the sake of hanging out there. Let's just say that. I want to get a Ronto wrap. If I got a reservation for Oga's, that's awesome. Clearly, if there's a low wait for rides, and I'll go there. And that is really the extent of why I go all the way to Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. It's definitely more of I don't think it's much of a trek in Hollywood Studios as it is in Disneyland to get to. Like it's in the back corner, so you're not. So I very rarely go there unless I get do something very specific.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, so
it's pretty easy to get to in Hollywood Studios.
right. So you're probably more likely to just hop in or whatever. But so for me, that was like took the wrong lessons away from. But is a obviously a great attraction. I think the problem, I don't know, it's just weird. That's a totally deep dive thing, and we've definitely done podcasts about Galaxy's Edge when it opened, but it's just a little. But anyways, I feel like. I know what's going on that. And then the other thing I was going to say is what might surpass Dark Universe as the most creepy kingdom land, if they actually do this and if they actually pull this off, was the vague promise of maybe, possibly, if we feel like it, I don't really know, we might build a land in Magic Kingdom based on the Disney villains. Whatever they said at the last D23, where they're like,
yeah, that's
they're like, if we wanted to, we could, but do we want to? I don't know. We'll see. But if they actually do,
I really wish they would. Yeah,
if they do, and
that would be the best.
And the
That
land
would be
based on
so cool.
Coco and the Land of the Dead could rival Dark Universe as the best creepy kingdom land. So
it's true, but until those things happen, and if they happen at all, we've got Dark Universe.
That's right. I mean, I want to even. Usually Disney announces stuff like way before they do it, and they haven't even said that. But I mean, we are at the time of this recording very close to D23 Expo, and I think they know they got to deliver on the announcement. Their slew of non-announcements 2 years ago, which I'm sure we'll come back on this show and get into if they actually talk about the Disney villains or Coco as a new land coming to Magic Kingdom, which will probably take 10 years to build, but at some day it'll be there. In the meantime, Epic Universe next year.
I mean, it only took how many years for them to build Tron?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about. That was that was a long time. Longer than it took to build Shanghai Disneyland.
It's a really long
the
time.
Whole park.
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure Guardians took less time to build than Tron, and Tron started before. I might be wrong, but that's what I feel the timeline is.
Maybe not that much, but definitely. Anywho, all right. Well, I think we've said everything we need to say about this announcement. Super excited, but we want to know what you, listener, viewer, especially if you're still hanging in with us at this point in the podcast. We want to know what you are. So if you're watching the video, obviously pretty easy to drop a comment. Let us know what stuff that which element you're most excited about, and if you're listening to audio, you can always social media. We'll post clips about this, and you'll find them pretty easy if you're following us on social media. Which I'd imagine if you listen to our podcast, you probably are, right? But if you're not, you should do it.
I would hope so. I mean, if you should, if you're just randomly finding us, like, hi, come hang out. We're pretty cool most of the time.
Most of the time.
Always. Most.
That's subjective. We're the misfits of the theme park coverage world. And proud of it. All right. All right, with that, we're gonna get out of here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, the gates are closed.
Thank you for watching, and thank you to our sponsors and Patreon producers for making this video possible. Hit the subscribe button so the creepy fun never has to end. This is Hannah reminding you to keep it creepy.